An outstanding role model. The CB650 engine. Veco copied its design. Vogue copied its design. Now QJMotor is copying its design too. Norma copied it as well. Even Benda cloned it. I bet this engine itself feels pretty miserable. It's probably thinking, I'm not the only inline-four out there. What sin did I commit in my past life? For all of you to push me so hard and run me into the ground? Please, show me some basic respect. This is the Honda CB650 engine, which is, of course, also the CBR650 engine. Here is its Sprague clutch. Let's take a look inside this engine that domestic brands are scrambling to copy, and see how good it actually is. First, let's look at the clutch. Needless to say, it's definitely made by FCC Japan. And then we have the slipper clutch. Once upon a time, I was quite obsessed with the CB650 naked bike myself. But after tearing down so many of them, I lost all desire to buy one. Look in here, there's the oil pump chain, the guide plate, and the oil pump itself. The chain is usually a bit loose by default. This one is from DID. The oil pump chain. It can be loose, but it shouldn't be slapping the bottom of the casing. Wouldn't you agree? Many owners complain about the vibration. Once you hit 6,000 revolutions per minute, it seriously vibrates so much your butt goes numb. I actually went out of my way to find one and test ride it. Whether it's the CB650F or the CB650R. The moment you hit 6,000 revolutions per minute, your butt goes instantly numb. I'll reveal the secret behind this vibration in just a bit. The camshaft journal cap is already scored. Frustrating, isn't it? How do you even manage to break this part? People always say, Hondas are bulletproof. Where did that logic even come from? Its camshaft is made of cast iron. If you flash the ECU to remove the rev limiter, this suffers the most. Once delimited, it snaps easily. This intake cam feels a bit worn to the touch, but it can still be salvaged. No need to replace this one. We'll save it. However, the cylinder head here is in pretty bad shape. Let's keep tearing it down to see if the cylinder head is even worth restoring. The owner mentioned that besides making strange noises, it's also misfiring on a cylinder. Once we pull the head off, we should be able to see exactly what the cause is. Alright, take a look at this. Look at the cylinder head. Look at these valves. The valve seats are completely blown out. Two valve stems are snapped right off. Seriously, what kind of grudge did this valve hold against the piston? Now let's check out the damage on the piston side. The piston is in terrible shape too. It's been completely smashed through and punctured. This issue must have started a long time ago. Look at the combustion chamber of these three cylinders. And then look at this one. It's obvious that this cylinder had been running poorly for a long time. It might have even stopped firing completely. If you feel something is wrong with your engine, take care of it as early as possible. Oh, my bad. Two valve seats were blown out. Not just one. If we were to repair this cylinder head, it probably wouldn't be worth the cost. Fixing the valve seats plus repairing the journal caps, along with the heavily worn areas on the head, The cost to repair it all is probably more than just replacing it. Replacing it with a used part from a donor bike is a much safer bet. Let's drop the oil pan. Let's see what surprises are waiting inside. Inside, it's completely full of shredded aluminum debris from the piston. This engine really went through hell. The pickup screen is also covered in aluminum shavings. Let me pull it out to show you guys. Is it clear enough to see? Right now, the biggest worry should be the crankshaft. Because that thing is expensive. The crankshaft journals actually look fine. Just normal signs of wear. No scoring. And we finally found the remains of the valve seats. They all ended up down here. Luckily, they didn't damage the transmission gears. Nor did they damage the crankshaft. The main bearings on the crankshaft have no scoring either. Next, let's inspect the connecting rod bearings. Remove the rod bolts. And look at the rod bearing from the blown-out cylinder. There's some wear, but it's not terribly severe. Let's check cylinder 2. Looks decent, just normal wear and tear. Cylinder 3 is the same. Cylinder 4 is fine too. All show normal signs of use. Fortunately, the crankshaft has no scoring or gouges. Just normal wear. The crankshaft is saved. At least that's a silver lining in this disaster. This piston is definitely garbage. The wrist pin is completely seized to the connecting rod. It's best not to reuse this rod either. Maybe turn it into a slingshot or something. As for the other 3 pistons, they are completely usable and perfectly fine. The pistons on this bike are not forged. Even though Honda's own CBR600 uses forged pistons. Many people claim this bike vibrates heavily because it lacks a balancer shaft. But that's actually not why. Look at the Kawasaki ZX-6R, the Yamaha R6, and even Honda's own CBR600. None of them have major vibration issues. So why does this specific bike vibrate so much? In my personal opinion, it's because its cast pistons are quite heavy. It has a 67mm cylinder bore. Let's check the weight of the piston combined with the wrist pin. 191.1 grams. Now let's compare that to a CBR600 piston, which also has a 67mm bore. Its piston and wrist pin assembly. Mind you, it's a forged piston. Let's see how much this one weighs. Keep in mind, they are exactly the same size. 172.7 grams. You have to understand, making a piston just 7 grams lighter makes a noticeable difference in reducing vibration. Let alone a massive 18-gram difference between these two. Why did I weigh them with the wrist pins included? Because the wrist pin for the forged piston is slightly shorter. To keep it fair, each piston was matched with its own wrist pin and weighed together. You can verify this fact with anyone in the engine tuning industry. Anyway, from my own testing, shedding just 7 grams significantly cuts down on vibrations. Basically, out of all the imported inline-four 600 cubic centimeters class motorcycles on the market, they're even heavier than the ones in a 400 cubic centimeters inline-four. Now let's take a look at the cylinder block. The cylinder walls show abnormal wear. It looks like the piston rings failed. Look at the top and bottom dead center travel of the rings. It has worn distinct ridges right into the metal. The crosshatch honing marks around it are completely gone. Ah, my mistake, look closely at this line right here. Filming from this angle, you guys should be able to see it. There is a clear ridge worn out by the piston rings. Oh right, let's also check the crankshaft runout. Just a quick measurement. My DIY method here works perfectly fine. The dial indicator shows runout is within 0.04 mm. It didn't exceed 0.05 mm, so it's considered within spec. Seeing how badly the piston was smashed, I was a bit worried. So, this specific engine model from Honda was built purely to capture market share. It's designed primarily to make a profit. If you want something genuinely fun, go for the CBR600. Alright, that's it for this video. Thank you all for watching. Part 2, Honda CB650 engine assembly. The cylinder block has just been honed. And we've installed brand new piston rings. The teardown video for this engine has already been uploaded. This is what it looked like before. The piston was shattered. The connecting rod was bent. And the valves were snapped. What's strange is that it happened to cylinder 1. Many mechanics who work on this engine notice that cylinder 1 is always the most prone to failure. Of course, it's not a 100% guarantee, but it happens with a high probability. In the teardown video, I did criticize and roast this engine quite a bit. The build quality of the parts is just barely adequate. But if you remove the rev limiter, the camshaft is highly likely to snap. The cylinder walls are prone to wearing wavy scuff marks. And the pistons can easily smash right into the valves. However, it definitely has its strong points. The power delivery tuning on this bike is incredibly smooth. And its fuel economy is remarkably low. Under normal riding conditions, without even trying to save fuel, it sips only 3 to 4 liters per 100 kilometers. When it comes to fuel efficiency, practically any domestic motorcycle above 400 cubic centimeters displacement struggles to match these numbers. For a naked bike like the CB650R, riding below 100 kilometers per hour is an absolute joy. The exhaust note is mellow and the power delivery is linear. With fuel consumption so low, and keeping it under 6,000 revolutions per minute for daily commutes, the vibrations within that range are honestly negligible. Let's listen to the engine sound for some pure satisfaction. There is another detail, though I'm not sure if it's a pro or a con. I feel Honda didn't put a lot of R&D effort into this engine. Structurally speaking, it's identical to the old CBR600 F5. As for this camshaft, we didn't replace it. We just refurbished it instead. Here's the camshaft after restoration. Looks pretty good, right? It'll run perfectly fine like this. Save the owner the cost of buying a new camshaft. Additionally, its bearing shells and piston rings are interchangeable with the Honda CB500. It feels like they took the F5 platform, downgraded some components, threw in off-the-shelf parts, and cobbled this engine together just to target a cheaper market bracket. But it certainly caught a lot of attention. Even I really wanted a Honda CB650R and was infatuated with it for quite a long time. It was only after tearing down so many of them that the desire to own one completely vanished. Leaving the rev limiter issue aside, all things considered, this bike is actually decent. Of course, if you are very sensitive to vibrations, you probably won't tolerate this bike. The material quality is admittedly a bit cheap. As for the cylinder head, it has been replaced entirely. Trying to fix the old one just wasn't cost-effective. Let's adjust the valve clearance. These are the old valve shims we took out. Now, let's put the valve cover back on. We'll do a compression test before mounting the engine back on the bike. I tore down another CBR650 a couple of days ago. The smell inside that thing almost made me throw up on the spot. I'll share that video with you guys later, so you can experience the grossness too.